Well, anyway, nice meeting you. Tarek.
Yes, ma'am. You as well.
Hey, folks. Good morning. Looks like Gabriel just joined. Good morning, Gabriel. Maybe some audio issues.
There you go.
Gabriel, can you hear us? All right. Good morning again, folks. Today,
Good morning.
first review. Good morning. First review class from courses that you have done so far this week. One for fundamentals of computers and organizational structure. And for these, what you're looking to do, maybe mute your microphone if there's a background noise. And then when I ask you a question, you can unmute yourself and answer questions. For computer fundamentals, there's not a whole lot in there that's going to be applicable for interviews. The main reason that I had it there is in case you did not have the basics of how the computer works, that will kind of get you going. Sometimes in the workplaces, you may have to communicate with others and they may use some of those terms. And we didn't want you to feel like you have zero idea. Having that course will give you that base for you to have communication going with your colleagues and feel very comfortable in this field. Sometimes I may pull a few terms from that lesson and didn't want you to be lost completely. However, in the interviews, they're not going to be asking questions from that chapter, mainly because it's too basic and not micro-focused into the workplace that you are getting into. However, the organizational structure, this course is heavily concentrated with the information that you're going to need. It also gives you an idea of how the software industry works. By far, I think this class was the most important for you to step into this industry. So having said that, I wanted to go in, ask questions, and go through some of the slides, maybe answer some questions that you had anywhere that you felt like, I did not really understand this. And at the same time, I would be showing you my own project and some of the live teams and organizations and how things are done on a daily basis. All of those questions are also going to be answered. So today is a good day for you to ask me questions related. What do QA analysts do on a daily basis? How does it look like? How do they organize their time? How do they organize their work? And so forth. So let me start with very first question is, I know this class talked about teams and the structure of the organization. You are going to be placed in a particular team in your company, maybe more than one team, but each team you're going to be placed into will have certain number of people and certain people with certain tasks and certain title. So Tarek, you have done this course a little bit before, and then I wasn't able to carry on. That was like the very first session that I was experimenting with. So you're back again. Let me see if you can remember how many members. If I were to ask you as an interviewer, how many members are in your team? What would be a good number to throw out there?
Shoot, a good number in our team, cause you can still have different teams and all are I guess you would say are responsible for doing different things. So like say even in my team, I don't know, maybe about a good 4 or 5 people that are all, subject to different things, and then you also have people that are part of different teams that are coexisting within what you're supposed to be doing. I think that's the information that I got from the slides. I didn't know if there
Sure.
was a number.
Yeah, that's fine. If they ask you who are those people in your teams?
Now, who are those people?
Mhm.
Shoot, I think I just passed that. That I can't like totally remember. Um,
Because the recruiter, they
he's gonna ask. So,
they
so
don't.
we should write these questions down just to have an answer for it.
I'll have this posted, so
Okay.
you don't have to. But do think about it. I mean, if you want to jog it down, but don't let it slow you down, because I want this to be
Right.
an interactive class. So
Absolutely.
and these are real questions. These come from your basic understanding, and they're going to pull you with these questions to uh, get find out whether you really have those experience, whether you are currently employed, or you're just coming out of one of these programs
Right.
with zero experience. So, um, how many members of uh, are in your team? You generally you want to be very certain about this question, because um, if you say 4 or 5, then that signals that you have
I wouldn't.
memorized this information.
Okay.
You have to determine, you have to choose a path to go to. So, Martha and Gabriel, do you want to answer this? Have you thought about this? I mean, I'm sure the video sort of explained that you need to set up a few people in your team and how to answer this question.
Personally, I didn't get a chance to actually go through those, the second set of videos. I went through the computer fundamentals and it was, yeah, I didn't actually have a chance to address this. I was,
Let me see.
Sure, Martha?
I think 6 people maybe.
Okay, good. No, don't.
Because wouldn't this have to do something to do with the coverage, I guess?
I
I'm sorry. But I was asking, like, wouldn't you know the size of your team based off of the coverage that's needed? I guess.
No, it
Yeah.
totally depends on, you know, it really doesn't matter. And it could
Okay.
range, depending on the project, it could range from 4 people all the way up
Mm-hmm.
to 10 people.
Okay, so there isn't okay.
Yeah.
So there's the job like project manager himself, the business analyst, developer, tester, and the client.
Yes.
So there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 people, or somewhere I think I heard.
So
6
you
maybe.
mentioned project manager. Project manager, even though will be managing your team, would not be part of your team.
Oh,
Okay.
so
This
there are 4 then.
this guy, even though it's project manager, we call it, but the project manager can have multiple hats. Could be the director of software engineering. In our company, it's the director. Some companies can have a title like vice president of software development. Or in some companies, we'll have the name project manager, okay, or software manager. Doesn't really matter what the title is, but this guy is going to oversee all of the projects that are going on, multiple projects, not just one. He's going to.
So is the first answer like 4 to 10? You said.
Yeah, well, let's get to that. You don't want to say 4 to 10 to the recruiter. Recruiter is going to ask you to see how many members are in your team. If you're saying that you have the experience, you should be able to know. Does that make sense?
Well,
Right.
So
Yes.
I'm gonna give
What I was gonna ask.
I'm
Okay,
gonna
go
give
ahead.
you a number today, and I'm gonna show you the logic behind the number so that you write this down and you deliver the speech when they ask you without any doubt. Understand?
Mhm.
So you got the project manager. What else? Who else? Martha, you
Business analyst,
good. You
developer,
need to know.
tester.
You need to know these characters. Business analyst, okay? And business analyst is a must in your team. You must have one, okay?
You have to have a no, well, I don't think you have to have a designer.
Who else? Who are the other?
Tester,
A tester.
QA tester.
Good.
Yeah.
That is you.
Give me a
All
second.
right?
Yeah.
A tester is a must. All right. A business analyst is a must. A tester is a must. What else?
The designer,
Not designer,
engineer,
developer.
developer.
Okay. They make sure don't try to. There are some things you can paraphrase and answer. This list right here, you do not want to paraphrase.
Okay.
Nobody paraphrases these. If it's business analyst, it's business analyst. If it's a tester, it's a tester. If it's a developer, it's a developer. Okay? Modify any of these, that's going to be like a bummer. Like this person probably doesn't have that many years of experience. That's what I would think if I were to interview you. Okay?
Okay.
Anything else missing?
The client, it's himself.
Not necessarily part of your team.
I think we're missing one, but
You are missing one.
what about the engineer himself, the person who's the QA engineer who writes the code on and.
So this tester covers either a QA analyst
Or a QA tester.
or
Uh,
automation,
Mm.
test automation engineer.
Mm.
Make sense?
Okay.
This
sir.
guy is the same, it has the same skill set as this guy. This guy does not know how to code, but this guy knows how to do QA analyst work. At the same time, he knows how to code and automate those test cases, who you're trying to be.
Mm.
So some companies cannot afford these people because there is a shortage. So they may have a QA analyst in that team. In our company, we have 2 QA analysts that are in certain teams, and they can't automate the test cases. They go in, write the test cases, and give me those test cases, and I automate those test cases for them. Okay. So in my team, we don't have a QA analyst. It's just me, which is I am an automation engineer. What can I do? I can do everything a QA analyst can do and more. I can take the test cases, test it manually, and create a code that will automatically test it every day in the morning and give me a report whether it's passing or not. All of that is going to be taught to you. So you want to say a tester? Well, in your team, you are going to have a business analyst. You're going to have developer, not developers. There's always more than one. All right.
Okay.
You want to say you have 3 developers in your team. You're even going to have to make up some names because there is some recruiters, they will ask you these stupid questions. All right? Trying to see whether you made up this or not. Okay?
Mm.
So in that case, I'm going to give you some names if you are worried about names. Rob Stave. All right, these are my team folks. All right. Nick Moorman and Chris Keel.
Okay.
Got it?
Mm-hmm.
You memorize this like you attend meetings with them every day. All right?
Okay. So the developer's job is just developing the site, basically. And they cannot, if it's a small a farm or something, they cannot act as a tester or the test engineer or anything like this, right? The automation engineer. So they're completely different set of people. Or can they play double role?
If you ask me, do the developers have the skills to test what they're doing? The answer is yes. The answer about and if you ask me, do they have better skills than QA? The answer is also yes. If you ask me, do they want to do it? Do their own testing? Maybe, maybe not.
No.
Would it be better if they did their own testing? The answer is no. If you ask, like the same thing, if you wrote an essay and your teacher told you, you're in high school, let's say, the teacher told you that you can grade your own essay. As the 20 students in there, and teacher said, go ahead and grade your own essay.
I see.
Would that be a good grading system? It might encourage them to do better. It might give the students ownership of their material, and they might feel empowered, and it might motivate them to do more. But is that going to teach them where they made the mistakes properly? Will they be able to correct their mistakes properly? The answer is no. And what happens is when we allow the developers to test their own piece, they will generally not test it and say that they have tested it. And it's just like anybody else, they will goof off and they will say it's good to go. But then what happens? Then the software breaks. And that's something that has been happening for many companies that don't have this testing field, and they're realizing that they need to do that. One of the NASA rocket shuttle crashed down because of the lack of testing. They realized that they didn't have a strong testing department, and often they allowed the developers to test their own pieces, and they didn't do a good job, and people got killed, and billions of dollars of taxpayers' money went down the drain. And there's a lot of examples, such examples out there. I had a video that I used to show, but since we condensed, I cut down a lot of things and tried to bring it as packed as possible for this program to be successful. So I took those things out. But it is very important that someone else, a second set of eyes, look at the test, look at the development, look at the software code and the feature to see if it's working properly or not. Generally, there is only one QA, okay, always, because most companies don't have the ability to hire so many, or even think that we need to hire so many. So there is a lot more developers compared to just one QA, and you will probably never see more than one business analyst. Okay. The other member that y'all forgot, anybody wants to shout out? No one? And that's product owner. Product owner is basically the designer or it could have, in my company, we had a director of product development. Okay. Now these people, this project manager and product owner, they're not gonna be part of your team. Director of software development. They're too big and they handle everything. They may have multiple teams under them. There could be one product owner that's handling, let's say, a team here and another team here. Okay? Multiple. So they cannot attend all these team meetings. I did see sometimes they would pop into these meetings just to see if the meetings are going well. Every once in a while. Other than that, if you request them to come and attend, they might come and attend. But what the product owners do, these guys are responsible for what type of software. How is it going to look? How is it going to function? They are worried about that. Project manager is making sure that the product owner's design idea gets implemented and sent out to the customers through these teams that the project manager is going to create. Any questions so far? So Gabriel, how many members, just looking at this chunk right here, how many members are in your team?
I see 4.
5.
And then if you want to include
5. We got 3
3
developers,
developers, got it.
a tester, and a business analyst. All right. If you need a name, go ahead and say Jeremy Klein. All right. And yourself. If the recruiter wants to get that nasty and want to ask you who are the people, you're not going to give them names right away. You're going to say, I have a business analyst and 3 developers in my team. Okay, that's it. I got a business analyst.
Matt, if you don't mind me asking, so this question of who is the people on your team, is this question coming after the effect of what type of job is being presented to us, or what we have in our arsenal as far as who my developers will be, or the business analysts? You get what I'm saying?
Can you
Because
say
what I'm basically asking is, the question is, who are the people in your team? But if it's coming in a job interview where we have no idea what they're requiring us to do, then how can we just give out a number like 5 or something? Where in this basis, you're like, okay, well, this job is this long or this big, so we're going to have 1 tester, 3 developers, and then a business analyst. You know what I mean? Because certain jobs could take only 2 developers, right? Doesn't need more.
Right. And you can even have 5
Right.
developers.
Right, exactly. So what I'm saying is, so how would we know how many would we have, or whatever? And is this question coming after them showing like, hey, this is the work that we're really needing, look at this work, and now you're going to tell me how many people would be in your team? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand. And it totally makes sense. Different teams will have different projects, and based on the project and urgency of getting that software out there, your
Right.
project manager might require X and X number of developers, and that could be 10 developers. So I need 10 of these guys. I got a total of, I'm a project manager, I got a total of 40 developers in my company, and I'm going to be dividing them up into different teams, and different teams will be producing different stuff. And that, correct, that depends on the project size and stuff. And that's more like a project manager's job. But understand that when recruiter asks you this question, what are they trying to get out of you? Are they trying to get out of you whether you have the job skills? Or are they trying to test you to see if you are real? Honestly, they're just asking you this nasty question to make sure that you are real. That's it. Okay? So don't go any farther than that. Just memorize the heck out of this. And generally, I'm going to tell you, I've been in multiple teams. Their size is about 5 to 6. That the teams that I've been in. Now I know there is a 1 or 2 teams in my company that has 15 people in it, but I wasn't part of it. I'm not gonna go there. If you go that road, if you say I got 15, that might cause an alarm to the recruiter. Why? Because he has a script on his hand. He doesn't have experience in this industry at all. He doesn't know what in the world this is. But he has to screen you before he moves you down the line to your technical interview. That's where you're going to get the job. Okay? So with recruiters, what you need to do is just straightforward answer. They got a script, and this, what I'm giving you, is going to match their script. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So with recruiters, it's not about a whole lot of technical questions. It's about questions trying to figure out whether the experience that you claim is real or not. That's it. This is a recruiter type of question. Your technical team or the team that you're going to be working for will be interviewing you. They will never ask you this question. They're going to jump into questions like SQL, Java, and Selenium. Hardcore questions. And those are coming up in later stages of this program. So let's go ahead and memorize these. If I ask you, Gabriel, how many members are in your team? What's your answer?
5.
5. Good. Who are these people?
I have a business analyst. I have myself as the tester, and I have 3 developers
Awesome.
to work under.
Awesome. Good answer. Okay. Great answer. And very confident, straightforward, delivered, done. Now, if I want to be nasty, and I might ask you, what are the names of these people? And then
I would like to protect privacy, but I didn't see that was so important, but I can name them if that's very important.
yeah, and then I'm that kind of nasty recruiter. I would like you to name them. Then you would say I have Jeremy Klein as Jeremy.
Yeah, I would name them. I could say
You
any
know?
names. I would just genuinely not like it if an interviewer was like, "So who was the people in your team?" I'm like, I didn't realize you went to class with me. But one of them is Nick Mormon. You met him? How about Rob John? Have you met him? Like, I could say whatever, and I would be kind of annoyed at the dude more than not.
Don't,
But yeah, I understand.
don't get annoyed, all right? Because at the end of the day, what are we trying to do? We're trying to get the job, right? But we have to go through these people, and mostly the people are Indians, and they know what they're dealing with, and trust me, when my boss hired me, I could see it in his eyes that he knew I didn't have the experience. Okay? But he's professional. He's not going to say, well, I knew that you didn't have experience and you cooked up all this stuff, but I still hired you. He's never going to say that. Okay? What's my objective? My objective as a boss that I want to hire somebody, I'm going to interview that person very well and make sure that he knows that stuff. And he has the personality. So I need 2 things. 1, technical knowledge and personality. If I see this guy has very good personality and enough technical knowledge that I can bring him in and ask him to do stuff and he's going to do stuff for me, I'm going to hire this guy. And those 2 skills have to be very well balanced. if I don't find personal skills in somebody, but a highly technical ability person, I might think that, this guy might step on my toes. I don't want to hire this guy. Okay? With recruiters, you want to play that game. You don't want to. What's the point of you getting personal with the recruiter? He's just going to disqualify you. He's not going to move your application to the place that you want to go. You with me, Gabriel? We're looking at the bottom line here, and we're not going to go into that road where we're going to get offended or, hey, and you're not going to be working with the recruiter. When you get that job, you're going to be working with people that are very upscale, that make a lot more money than the recruiter who's going to be interviewing you. And therefore, you will see their personalities are awesome, because these folks really went up that ladder that you're going to be working daily basis with. They're going to love you. All right. So don't break your bridge with recruiters thinking that they're being nasty, and you just don't want to deal with them because you don't know who the end client is that they're trying to move you forward to. That could be an awesome job, but the recruiter is horrible. Doesn't matter. So if they ask me, hey, can you give me the names of those people? Then I would say, well, in my team, business analyst is Jeremy, and I have 3 developers, Rob, Nick, and Chris. That's it. If they ask me what are their last name, well, Rob's last name is Stade, Nick is Moorman, and Chris Kill. I don't have it memorized. My answer doesn't have to be super fast, but natural. With me, y'all? Martha, you're pretty quiet.
Yeah, I'm fine. I was muted, that's all.
Okay, any comments on that?
No, so far it's good.
Okay. Anything else in this before we move on?
No, so far it's good.
All right. So be prepared. They might ask you, what about a product owner? Don't you have a product owner in your team? Be careful how you answer those questions. I mean, just say that our product owner is the director of product development. And if recruiter says,
so Stein, I have a quick question here. So what's the difference between product owner and the client? Isn't he the one who is actually financing the whole project? Isn't he the owner? Like, for instance, if it's a Target, so isn't Target the product owner?
no,
Or there's a representative of Target, somebody else who is actually working in the company?
that's a good question. Let me explain this. Excuse me. So you have a client, and your client could be, let's say, you said what? JCPenney?
Target?
Target?
Yeah, that's fine. Anybody.
Could be
Target.
JC.
Kroger. Yeah, JCPenney. Yeah.
All right. Could be Best Buy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. These companies are wanting a piece of software from you, correct?
Yeah.
Then you would be some software company. I'm just making it up. Let's say Masergy. That's my company.
Okay.
So let me see this here. Your client is going to ask you to develop some software for you, for them. And in your team, you have 5 members. that will meet on a daily basis and deliver the product to these companies, right? So the client doesn't reach out to you or your team at all. It's going to reach out to your product owner.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And again, this could be your director of development, vice president of product development, and so forth. So this person is going to reach out and procure these businesses or orders from other company, and then talk to them back and forth on what else do you want? So they are the ones that are going to be communicating back and forth, not you.
Okay.
And then product owner is going to talk to your business analyst. Okay? In short, BA. Your business analyst is going to be talking back and forth with the product owner. In your company, business analyst will not be talking to any clients at all. And as they talk back and forth and understand what this program is going to be on, what this software is going to be on, your business analyst, he or she doesn't have any technical skills, any coding skills. He or she will just be writing something. It's called what? Who can tell me? It was part of that class.
I think it calls the requirement.
It's requirement, correct.
And then from there on, I think it's broken down to sprint, I believe.
Features.
Oh.
Epic and user stories. Have you encountered this slide?
Yes.
Yeah, but because user stories have like you can have bullet points in it, and then amongst it you can have a lot more things, I believe. Isn't this right before the whole BRS or BRD and stuff like that?
Yeah, so suppose a website has to be created.
I just didn't like write all the members and stuff down because I figure if we go through it enough, that'll be like something that's memory in a sense.
Yeah, so let's say you got a website needs to be created, and suppose you got they want a dashboard for that website, meaning the main page or the landing page. So the business analyst is going to write down, if he or she wants to write down stuff. A lot of the times they don't write it in an organized fashion. It's all over the place. All right, but as long as they have user stories in a ticket or a work order for the developers to work on, that's all it's needed. It does not have to be organized. Some will be like, well, we got to put it in a Confluence file and organize this thing. So they will have a feature, and that big feature is a big umbrella of something. All right. Sometimes epic and feature go hand in hand. You might hear this word. So it could be dashboard.
I think we can make the crunchy.
Oh,
So dashboard is your feature. Epic could be that in the dashboard, you're going to have multiple epic. One is called account creation. All right. There could be another epic, maybe deposit money. With me so far? And user stories are going to be under these. So let's say under the epic called account creation, user story 1, user should be able to create an account.
Hey, Brad, did you get my message by chance?
Did you text me?
Yeah, I sent you a private message off of this. So I don't know if you received that.
I may have gotten it. Let me check.
It was just letting you know I have to be at work in like 30 minutes, and a little bit I have to get off.
Yeah, that's
So I was just saying, like, whatever you guys do, I guess you upload it, right? Or is there going to be any homework for me to look at?
So just go ahead and attend your work. This is going to be recorded.
Okay.
It is recording right now, and I'll compile this video and have it posted somewhere. You can watch it later.
Okay, cool. All right, and then I'll just text you to see what would you like for me to like look into more. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that.
Thank you, guys. You guys have a blessed day.
You too, Tariq.
You
Take
too
care.
as well.
Yes, sir.
Bye. All right. So, and then another user story could be user story 2. These numbers are assigned by Jira, which I will demo you shortly. And this could be user should be able to update or modify account details. Martha, are you with me so far?
I'm little getting, but I'm trying to get it.
Sure.
Probably have to go
So,
over it.
so do
Keep
you
going.
understand that the business, this is not your job, okay? And
Okay.
they're not going to ask you questions what a business analyst does. But do you understand ballpark that they're the ones who are going to be writing down what those little thing that the developers have to work on?
Oh yeah. Okay.
And that little thing is basically the, hang on a sec. So this right here is that little work order that they're going to start writing specifically in more detail of what this account creation is going to look like. Is it going to be a form that they're going to have to fill out? Is it going to have to take a screenshot of something? Do they have to scan their ID? All of that is a business analyst's job.
All right. So you're just giving us a briefing on that. Okay.
Yeah. So because you had a question, you needed to understand how this thing is working above your team level, then that's what's happening. So
Okay.
this business analyst is writing down all the tasks or broken down into what the work is going to be like, and developers are going to take those pieces and then start working on them. Okay. Now I promise you, all of this is going to come to you when you have seen it all, and you're going to see it all within a couple of weeks. Okay.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's not going to happen. I can't give you all the information all at once, but just
Right.
get bits and pieces. I will tie them together at the end.
Like a puzzle. Yeah. Yeah. It will come together.
So you got
Yeah.
pieces now, you got those pieces now, and they're going to all fall in one place. So let me
Okay.
move on from here. This is it. You just remember this for now. And if you can do that, this is like a piece of the puzzle that you have to know for now. Gabriel, you mentioned that you were not able to finish the second video, which is fundamentals. So I wouldn't ask you. Martha, unfortunately, you're the only student right now.
Let's see.
I'm going to be drilling this down, but before we do that, let's take 5 minutes break. It's been an hour.
Okay. Oh, we're ready. Okay, no problem.
Grab some coffee and come back.
Sure.
All right.
Okay.
Gabriel, are you back?
I've been here.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we still got 2 more minutes. I guess wanted to piggyback on that. The recruiters are going to interview you like a robot, and they often don't have the interpersonal skill sets. They're just after money, and all we have to do is just answer them like a robot. And our end goal is that application, they pass it to the team that we are going to be part of so that we can get to that interview, that final interview. Anyway, this video is.
Yeah, I got it. I just, what do you call it? It's just such a weird thing as far as like privacy goes. I mean, I wouldn't do that obviously in real life, but
Yeah.
it's just such a weird thing that anyone would ask. Like, oh, so who did you work with? Like, I didn't realize you knew these people too. Like, that's just like sarcastic.
No, I know.
But
it's
you know,
funny. It would be very funny. Yeah. But
I guess if they have enough time on their hands, they can have some chit chat with you. That's all.
yeah, but as far as legally, if you disclose their names, it's really not breaking any privacy, any law. It's totally fine. It's just unethical for somebody to ask that who are your team. I mean, how is that important in this job? How does that, what does that give you as far as my skill sets? of what
No, actually, on that note, I have had some experience like that. But the way my interviewer, well, who is actually the boss, who asked me in a very casual way, like, where do you work right now? I work such and such place. Oh, what company? Oh, okay. There's such and such work in that company. Do you know that person? And I think like later on, I thought that I figured out, he was trying to figure out if I do really work in that company, do I know that person or not? Because they're all in the same industry, so they know kind of each other. That's how probably, I don't know, they're trying to figure out. So it all depends on how he approaches to you.
Yeah, maybe a
That,
small talk or trying to be.
yeah,
Look, sometimes you ever been in a date where I don't know what to talk about,
right.
and we end up talking something stupid. Later on, we come back like, why in the world did I ask that question? You know.
Right, right.
So sometimes people, even adults, in these conversations, they might find you interesting, and they may not know what question to ask or how to extend the conversation, and they might just ask some ridiculous things. Take that as a compliment. Maybe they're nervous. Maybe they don't know what to say, and they're saying stupid things, but probably out of fondness of you. I like to take it that way,
Yeah.
instead of putting it under my skin and taking it in a different road. Going back to this SDLC, Martha, what is SDLC?
The SDLC, it's software development life cycle.
Good job. And what are the phases of SDLC?
Oh yeah, that's the requirement analysis, a design specification, and then development of the coding, test, and then production, or what do you call that? The word you used? Yeah, like yeah, production. There was another word I know they used with the D.
Deployment.
Deployment, right?
Okay. Yeah, memorize these as well. It's very important.
Okay. Okay.
They got a bit mixed up with STLC.
Software testing.
Yes. Software testing life cycle. So must know what these terms stand for. And for SDLC, you can skip a few, modify just a little bit. That's okay. Planning, okay, planning. And there's another called analysis. But sometimes planning, analysis goes hand in hand. So you could say planning, analysis, if you want to keep it short, but they have to be in a sequential order, otherwise that will create suspicion.
Oh.
Design, and you said design development, which is fine. If you put it together, that's okay with me. Design and development, if you say it like that, as long as I feel like you got the idea of how these informations come and get tested, understand that this, particularly in this world, everything has a process, has a sequence of steps that we follow, like a I don't know, autistic person, for example. And if there is a process involved, guess what? Somebody is going to write it, and somebody is going to post it out there, and then you have to memorize and learn it. All right?
Okay.
Software development is no exception. The development of software goes through a strict set of steps that people need to follow in order to develop a quality software in a specific time crunched manner. And these are the steps. Planning and analysis comes first. Who is mainly involved in this?
The client and the product owner?
Exactly. Could anybody else be involved in there too?
BA,
Mm-hmm.
business analyst.
Anybody
I
else?
think no, that's it, isn't it?
And the project
Manager?
manager as well. Project manager is going to plan out how many months is it going to take,
I see.
and how many people do I have in my arsenal, and how am I going to group them together? Okay, so those are the types of questions the project manager is going to be asking. So all of those folks are involved. Now, does that mean when that is happening, you, the tester, and the developers are doing nothing?
Yeah, what are we doing then?
You are already working on something that was planned before, another project.
Another project. Okay.
Another task, perhaps. A
Right.
website and web application is not just one piece of thing.
Right.
Priceline. Let me take it to my website. Oops. On the first video, you learned about VPN, correct?
Yeah, something. It's ringing the bell, yeah.
Gabriel, what does VPN stand for?
Don't remember.
Shoot. Damn it! I know there's something network. Crap! I should know this. Keep forgetting this.
Virtual private network. Well, understand, you are
Yeah, right.
assess, both of you are going to assess yourself at the end of today's class. How well prepared are you? Based on how many answers you can answer correctly. That will tell you whether your preparation was too little or too much, you know? And sometimes you will be like, oh, yeah, I could answer all his questions. And I'm like, and I put 6 hours in it. Let me just tone it down to 4 hours. So you adjust yourself.
Right.
If you feel like you didn't capture much and can't answer my questions, then that means that you need to write those things down. Things that you already know, don't write down. Don't waste your time. Things that you feel like, nah, I might forget about this one. Then you write it down, put it on a flashcard, and stick it on your favorite wall. Create a personal wall for yourself that you go past that and you look at it and you just keep rumbling in your mind on it, and it becomes you. And that's how you're going to be successful. Understand that both of you guys, like me, you're here today because you want to change your life. And you can leave your past behind and become somebody that takes many years for people to go through college, get that entry-level job, get trained for years in a company to become and make that kind of money. You're making a big jump. And it's going to bring so much stability in your life that you would become a totally different person. But for that, you have to work hard, is what I think. And I think that this is not that much of a hard working that those people do. They go to college and learn all that and find a job and learn from job and then become who they are. This within 4 months, this is a short period of time. You don't have to do that many years of working and studying, but at least the information that I give you, learn it very well. And you are going to see results on this. VPN is a virtual private network. This is a window that pops up with my, in my computer, I have this desktop icon. I can click on it.
Mm-hmm.
And this will allow me to log into a private network. Otherwise, this network is not going to be available to anybody else. Has a secure window for me to log into, and then I can get into that network and access any information within that internet. Imagine a network is like, what is internet? We got this cloud of all computers connected to one another, and you can go to Google, Priceline, and so forth. A private network is also similar. There is a group of computers connected, and there's a whole lot of things going on, but no one has access, and you are right here, and you could have a window to a secret access, and that's called VPN, Virtual Private Network. And once you log into that, now you have access not only here, but also to a private network of bunch of other things that are there. Okay? United States government, for example, has a private network of stuff only military folks have access to. FBI, CIA, they have their own. Every a medium-sized company to major companies these days have their own private network of stuff going on. There could be a whole lot of other intelligence information that's there that you and I don't have access to. Okay, general people only live here, and whatever they feed us is what we know. But there could be a lot more development here that general people have zero idea. For example, COVID-19 vaccination deaths. I don't want to go there. I'm just kind of throwing things. So they know more than we do. Anyway, that's a window for me, VPN window, to connect to my company. So I'm going to connect, and I'm going to demo you some real stuff. It's a two-step security. When I click this, it's going to ping my cell phone with a instant unique password. I can approve it. Now it's going to let me go in. All right, so I'm connected. Now I can go into these sites that otherwise no one has access to. And now if I click on those favorites, I get this Masergy page. I have a username and a password. And this is what we're working on. This website was, when I joined, had a few things in it. And within the last 2 years, we've been adding a lot. And lots of updates, lots of bug fixes, and so forth. I can't explain this whole thing to you, what it does. It takes years of understanding. It's called domain knowledge. That will come to you later throughout the course. But for now, for the purpose of explaining planning, analysis, and design, suppose this panel is being created right now, and you are a tester in a team who is going to create this, we call it widget, because you can move this around and even click here to go to a particular page and see in details. These are like a summary view of various pages that are within this application. So as you are part of this development here, you are working on it, and you are currently testing whether this is displaying the way it should, whether this data is accurate or not. Guess what? Your product development team and your business analyst is working on creating this panel here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you are busy. Your developers are busy developing this. But business analyst and product owner, they are designing how this is going to look like. That this was a circular shape. We want this in a little bar like this, and these numbers display. Okay. And the business analyst is writing up user stories that a panel is going to display with ticket overview as the panel name. That will be one user story. This panel, ticket overview panel, is going to show tickets that are in progress under the blue, over the blue line. With me so far?
Mhm.
One developer is going to develop that. He's going to pull that user story and say, "Ha, I can do that." You know, she's going to write another user story that all the tickets that are done, the number of the ticket is going to display under the green bar, over the green bar. One of your developers might say, "Sure, you can give me that one. I'll work with that one." Okay, those come into the meetings that I'll talk about shortly. I don't know if we have gonna have much time today, but we may need to extend this to next Sunday farther because this is very important. And I won't quit until you're completely solid on this. Okay. Anyway, so you are not here yet because they are still planning this while you are testing this. While the developer, you're testing these three, the developer is still working on the third one, and then you're going to be testing that when they're done, while the business analyst is still meeting with you on a daily basis here, trying to see if you're doing your work every day, whether we're going to be able to finish this in a timely manner. This business analyst is also working here on the other times that he has on analyzing with the product owner how this is gonna look like. When this is done, when you're done testing this piece, now you have a meeting with them and business analyst is gonna explain this whole thing to the developers, to you, and you're gathering the requirements at this stage. Did that answer your question? What are we going to be doing? So,
Right.
so the design and development, this goes into the business analyst and the developer mostly. You're just going to stay there and listen. These are meetings, folks. You're going to be attending a lot of meetings and getting a lot of information from these meetings. And your task is to formulate test cases that you can test. How to formulate test cases is going to come your next two classes. What do we do with those test cases? Those are nitty-gritty stuff that your job will be focused on, and you're going to be doing some hands-on developing test cases in the next classes. Once it has been developed, what's next, Martha?
After the design development test?
Yes.
No, development in code, right? Oh, okay, we already did that, right?
Yeah, so when you say development, that's when developers are writing the code.
Okay.
All right. Now you can, if you want to space this out and say this is C. Totally
right, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Totally fine, no problem. My thing is, don't skip any.
Okay.
Yeah, you can say design and development in a one phase. Sometimes this go hand in hand. Why? As let's say you are a developer, you started writing the code and you're like, man, I can't put a button in there. This code is not going to allow me to put a button. So can we have a slider instead? Or you're like, instead of a button, a sliding thing might look nicer. And let me reach out to the business analyst and see if she's going to be okay with that. And then you are talking back and forth with business analysts and saying, hey, can we replace this with the slider instead? Because nowadays it's fancy and it just looks more classy. The business analyst might reach out to the product owner and say, hey, is this going to be okay? And they might say, whoa, yeah, I like that. That's even better. Let's do it. Then the developer will be like, okay, on the spot, write a different code, put that in there. So you see how this is like fluid, very fluid as far as the communication goes, but this fluidness can be affected by different type of SDLC methodology. See, I'm jumping now.
Mhm.
What are the major two types of SDLC methodologies that you learn?
Oh, I know that. Waterfall and agile.
Good.
Yeah.
Waterfall and agile. Agile, the English word, it means malleable, flexible, bendable, workable, adjustable, stuff like that. So in an agile style of development, anybody can be talking to anybody at any phase, and anything can be adapted. Meaning a development team can talk to BA saying, hey, I got a better idea. Instead of doing a button, put a slider. Business analysts can reach out immediately with the planning people that are product owners and say, hey, I got this better idea. They could say, yes, go down and fix that. Development team might immediately write the code to change and get the effect. However, waterfall method is like water falls from the top down and it doesn't go back up. So if you remember that image, the reason we have this image of this waterfall is that one. There. So the reason we have this image, and they call it waterfall, just like a waterfall, it's going to fall from the top and go down and never come back up. This design, this methodology of working or developing software works kind of like this. And there are some pros in here, but mostly there's a whole lot of problems with these methods. But generally, before, back in the time when software was coming out in the market, it was mainly the big box companies that were doing this. For example, government. As soon as the internet was like a thing, government was using that, and no one else was even knew what internet was. It was the government that was using it. And then government realized, we got 20 years under our belt with this internet thing. Why don't we open it up to the market? Let people benefit from this as well. This is how it has been. So governments, what they were doing is using this method. Why? Because they had to do a lot of documentation and they didn't have any other better way to do it. And they were not under pressure that, we got to finish this within a few months. They're like, we can take all the money and all the time in the world to do this, but we got to do it right and we got to document everything right, because if people came back and said, where is your requirements for this software, that we're going to have it. It was all about red tape. Okay?
Right.
About this, Martha, do you remember these documents that list all the requirements? What are they called in short?
The requirements. Oh, I know. Product backlog?
No.
No.
It's gonna be the word.
I think it's a requirement, like, they break it into pieces. Oh no, that's probably the agile, like, requirement 1 and 2 and 3 and so forth. And then all of them, like, like a list of the requirements, don't they call that the product backlog?
Yes, it's going to be the backlog where all those requirements are going to end up, but those are Jira tickets that has been
Oh,
created. But
isn't Jira like a website you guys use? Or like some kind of program? Not a website, some kind of program you use to log, right?
yes,
Okay.
yes. So requirements are first written down in a document called Software Requirement Specification, SRS.
Mhm.
It could be SRS, they could call it FRS. Same thing, just a different word. Functional Requirement Specification. You have a slide for this, by the way. Or
Right.
they could call it BRS,
Yes.
Business Requirement Specification. This is the document that if there is a waterfall going on type of thing, which governments, they do this, they have to develop an SRS or FRS or BRS, whatever they want to call it. Sometimes it's called SRD, Software Requirement Document. Or you can understand they could call it FRD or BRD. Doesn't matter. Same thing.
Okay.
Once they write down every little pieces of that application that needs to be developed in this requirement, only then it goes into design.
Okay.
That means they did not even hire the developers yet. That means Obamacare and the lawmakers are building the SRS, are writing up this project manager. Nobody in the team got hired yet. They're not even in the picture. They have no clue who's going to be in any teams. With me so far?
Yes.
Now, as SRS is ready, and we got the funding from the Congress,
Mm-hmm.
now we're hiring project managers, product owners, business analysts to analyze this, and then another team is hiring developers, okay, hiring testers at this moment.
Okay.
These guys were non-existent. They're contracted hire now.
Mm-hmm.
So they're getting hired. As they are hired, those SRS is passed to those folks, and the developers are starting to code.
Developing.
Yeah. While they're developing, testers are getting hired.
Correct.
Testers are still not in the picture. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They're getting hired. Only when these guys are done, it's moved to the testers to go ahead and test it.
I see.
What's the point of testing if I find a bunch of bugs, but these developers are already fired? Not fired, but project is over, their contract
Over.
Okay, but I found a bunch of bugs, Obamacare,
Mm.
but I don't have anybody to fix it because they're all gone. Okay, or maybe let's say a handful of developers are still there to fix the bugs. All right,
Mm-hmm.
but as this guy fixed this bug, this one gets fixed, but he breaks 3 others. His code breaks 3 others because this guy, he doesn't know all the stuff what other guys did. If everybody was still there, if those top dogs were still there, if those top dogs fixed this bug, would have only fixed this bug, but the other guy fixed the bug, breaks 3 others.
Mm.
With me so far?
Right. Yeah.
Unfortunately, for government, they have to use this style because they're still working on. There are some teams developing into Agile, but because of all the documentation needed, the money and funding, it all depends on Congress and stuff, or things roll down into this waterfall method. That's not very helpful. And that's why Obamacare, the marketplace crashed, because it hasn't been tested well. Performance testing didn't go well. When millions of people went on the site, they didn't test millions of people. We have technology to test when millions of people sign up into our website. We have the capability to test that. And we had the technology back then as well, but whoever the project manager was or not, they didn't test it well. The whole thing fell apart. It crashed. That was that story. But anyway, going back into this, Agile gives you that ability to work in small teams and collaborate together. So the communication can go back and forth. After the development, Martha, what was that other step? Testing.
Testing, yeah.
And this is
That's
where
what I come.
you come in, you're testing, and you found a bug. Immediately you tell the developer, hey, is this a bug? Developer says yes or no. If it's a yes, he's going to say, can you write up a bug ticket for me? Because I'm too busy right now. I can't handle this, but I'll handle it when I get to it.
Oh, so that's the ticket. Okay.
Yeah, every little piece of work has to be written in a ticket that's going to be done by Jira.
Okay.
So you wrote a ticket and you assigned it to so-and-so developer, and he has it on his list, but he doesn't want to get to it until he's done with what he's already working on. Why? When you're writing code, you have to be focused on the code that you're working on. If you jump back and forth, you're going to forget what you did, and you will write a bad code. That's why developers pick one code piece at a time, broken down into small pieces, and they work on it. And then until they finish that, they don't want to jump around. They will work on something else. So you tested it. If you tested it and everything comes out passing and everything is fine, this goes into you sign it off saying, done it, good job, everything is good to go. Now it comes to deployment. This word is very, very important. Either you can say deploy is a verb, deployment is the act of deploying something. What does that mean? This is where it goes to, when we say production, that means people are now going to use it. Goes to production. Production is that place where now the code is where everybody in the world can go in and access and start buying. Amazon, for example, they're buying. Until the code has been deployed, you and your developer can see the code and see the website, but no one in the world will have access to this. For example, take a look at this. This is Masergy. Only me and the developers have access to these, or company people have access to these. And notice the URL, it says isc.staging.masergy.com. That staging is the environment that we are operating in here. No one else has access. This is not the real website. This is a.
Oh, I see. Okay.
This is a.
Backstaging. Okay.
This is a different website where this is our playground. We play in it. This is, but the same code. Okay. It has more code. Let me explain this. This is our real stuff. Notice I wrote prod right here. I have staging, and I have dev. I'll explain this in a second. This is our real stuff. Production. Prod is short for production. So if I log in now, look at the URL. It just says iscmasergy.com.
Mhm.
This one doesn't have the word staging or doesn't have the word dev. In fact, you would be able to get into this login page if you type in on your computer right now.
Mhm.
However, you may not, if this is all VPN controlled with our clients too, then probably not. And I think it could be because we provide them network security. So this is probably also VPN controlled with our clients. So anyway, this is what our clients see right now. I just logged into a real client and I see what they see. I have access to their usernames and stuff. Anyway, but so this is real. This we have already tested and everything came out perfect, so we moved it forward. That doesn't mean that there won't be any bugs, but as we didn't find any. But if I go to staging, this now has the staging word, and this may have some enhancements that we're still testing, like these lower down here where it's in grayed out way it says the percent. This is probably not in production yet. Until we test it, we're not going to move that code out there. Make sense?
Mhm.
There's another environment called development environment, or in short, dev. And if I log into this one, it's going to have this word dev in it. So what does it mean with all this? What it means is when the developer writes a code, first, immediately after they write a code, it goes into this environment called dev. How could that look like? It could be www.dev.yahoo.com for Yahoo company.
Yeah. Okay.
Immediately they write the code, it goes into the dev environment. So there's a lot of things breaking in that dev environment. Okay. It could be a mess. So dev.yahoo.com, for example.
Mhm.
You as a tester, you're going to be testing and seeing where there is bug and where there is not, communicating that with your developer. And the ones that are okay, the code that are not failing, you're going to move them into another environment. And that's called either test. It could be like this: staging.yahoo.com. Some companies like to use test.yahoo.com. Test environment or staging environment, same thing. Other companies like to say QA.yahoo.com. Why QA? Because this is you. This is made for you. Over here, developers don't have any control. This one, developers have control because their code goes directly in here. You have no control. You can't say, I don't want your code here because it's messed up. Sorry, we write code, it gets right here. And then we see how it looks like, how the website looks like. But this, you get to choose. You are the QA controlled in this environment. You're like, I don't want this code for this widget to come in here, but code for this widget looks good. I'm going to let them move it over here. You pick and choose. Understand?
Yeah.
So you pick and choose and you create this environment. You make sure that this environment, everything is good to go and hunky-dory.
Mhm.
When you have tested this and looks everything good, and you are like, okay, we are now happy, let's go ahead and move this to the real client. And that's called a prod environment or production environment. Okay.
Okay.
And in that case, you're going to have, this is going to be just plain yahoo.com. And
Which everybody can see it, yeah.
everybody can see it. This is production environment. Okay. So this is dev environment, this is QA environment, and this is production environment. Again,
Okay.
if you hear I say this is staging environment, it's the same thing as QA environment.
Mm-hmm.
Test environment, same thing as QA environment. But dev environment and production environment will have just same word, dev and prod. In short, prod. Okay?
Okay.
Question about environments.
Not so far.
So this is how the code moves from one environment to the other, and you keep testing in both of these environment, and we also test in production environment, by the way. When we push the code into the production, we also test a few things. You can't test everything. Why? Because you don't want to go into a customer account and create a purchase, because they will get billed for it.
That's true.
We can't do that. So there are some things we can go in and look at it, but we cannot really do some technical stuff. But over here in this dev environment and QA environment, you go mess around with customers' account as much as you want. You won't break anything. You would be making purchases. You decline credit cards and whatnot. All of orders and stuff. You create accounts. You delete accounts. Totally acceptable.
Right.
Over here, you can't create accounts on somebody else's account because they will see it, and that will be messed up. So sometimes you will have to wait till the customer complains that, hey, I tried to create an account, but I couldn't. That may be some bug that we overlooked or something. Then it might come back all the way to developers again. And then they fix the bug. You test the bug in dev. You test the bug in QA, and you're like, good to go, push it to production. So
right.
be a cycle of movement. There will always be a cycle like that, ongoing. What does that mean? Job security for you. That means they're not going to hire a QA and then say, okay, we're done developing. Bye-bye. They're not there.
There's always something here.
They're going to need you there. They're going to find bugs, new development, new enhancements are going to be made. You're still going to be testing those. So there's your job security. Okay?
Right.
I think you got the gist of this. This was the key and the fundamentals of how the business works. Do study a little bit how the testing cycle works. What is testing life cycle? Well, somebody created Sdlc. Guess what? Testers, well, how come we're not going to have one? We got to create one ourselves too, because we can't get along with these guys. So there you go. Okay, somebody created a testing, software testing lifecycle as well, kind of sort of the same, and you might get questions on that. Okay.
Okay.
I'll ask you questions along the way, spiraling back next few weekends. I will try to see if you remember these things.
Remember it, right?
So if you forget, you will know it. Besides, before you go into the market, I'm going to mock interview you again.
Yeah.
So you will see these coming over and over. Quick demo. There's a lot that I wanted to go over today, but I felt like you needed a little more in-depth discussion on some of these. That's why I'm going to have to skip because we're almost out of time. I got another batch starting at in about 6 minutes.
Okay.
So a quick demo. and I will have these notes somewhere posted. I think I'm going to do a review class somewhere here.
Okay.
I don't want these review videos. Well, how about I have a class right here called a page right here called review,
Okay, I think that's good, right?
and then I can have the video and these notes posted.
Right, I think that would be, yeah, good polish.
Yeah, and then every 2 classes I'll have a review. And then have that
Yeah.
there. Yeah, I'm not gonna make them available until you finish those classes. So it's just gonna be hidden until you see it. But this one you will see right away.
Okay, so you're still developing that.
So given maybe tonight or tomorrow morning, you will see something pop up here says review.
Okay.
Review class. Click on it. You will see a video posted, what we talked about today, and whatever notes I took here is going to be posted in there as well. So you don't have to write this down.
Okay.
So real quickly, what are we going to be doing tomorrow? And I'll show you. I don't know how much time I have. This week, Gabriel and Martha studied to test types and bugs. This is
Okay.
go over what type of tests are there and how do you find a bug. It might demo you some bugs, how they look like, and how do you report the bug? How do you work on the bug? There's this life cycle for bugs. It's called bug life cycle, and there are stages in that. Learn that. Ask questions. Why is it developed that way? Because I'll be asking you questions on that. And then planning and development. This is where you're going to develop, you're going to plan the test cases, how the test cases are written, what are different styles in the market, and the homework is going to ask you to develop test cases. Okay? So you develop these test cases as it shows in the video and the slide, and you have those test cases ready because I'll have you demo those test cases in next Sunday's class. Okay?
Okay.
Along the way, if you have any questions, you can always text me during the weekday and I can help you. I'm always available.
Of course. Okay.
Start early. Don't wait for that, okay, I'm going to do it Saturday and then I will be done ready Sunday. No, because then you'll have questions and you may not have your answers right away. Start early. These 2 classes will prepare you to that level of writing test cases and actually starting to work for somebody. Clara just joined from my second batch. Clara, I just need a few more minutes to finish up this. So just.
Alrighty, no problem. I'll log out. Sorry about that.
No, you can stay. You can listen.
Okay.
Totally fine. Yeah. So, very important classes. And then this last class right here, test execution and management. This is like if you want to be a QA manager, but also you'll be doing a lot of QA management work. So this is very important as well. But focus on these 2 courses for the next week. One is types and bugs. If you feel like you did very well on those 2 and you're bored, then only move into this. But my expectation that you know materials very, very well for these 2 lessons next Sunday. Any question?
No, that's all.
Okay.
No.
All right. I'm going to sign you up into Google Classroom, but not yet because you're just taking baby steps. I don't want to, overload you with technology right now. So that's why just do your homework on a piece of paper or a computer. Actually, do it on Notepad. I think one of the videos asks you to use Notepad. Your computer, it comes in free. If you type in your search box Notepad, you will see something pop up like this.
Okay.
And you click on it, it's going to open up like this. It's free. Everybody has it. It's very simple and nice. You write your test cases or your homework assignment here, however way you want to do it. It's like a sheet of paper for you. So type that up, get it ready for me. Next Sunday, I'm going to ask you to demo it to the class. Any questions about that?
No.
If you want to use Word document, that's fine. If you have it, that's totally okay. Any kind of word processor is fine. Later, when you get into Google Classroom, you'll be using Google Docs, and I'll give you a demo of that later. But for now, just get any technology out there so you can have your stuff written and demo it to the class. Okay.
Okay.
Having said that, real quickly, and Clara, this might benefit you, just a refresher. And I don't know if I had the opportunity to give you so much of a real world demo or not. A ticket is written and assigned to people, and the work is tracked somewhere. How is that done? All of that is handled by the software or a web application, whatever you want to call it, is called Jira. Jira. It costs money for companies to acquire this application, but this company has become very popular, and they have tons of enhancements and various other things, not just Jira, but also Confluence, Bitbucket. You will learn about those later, that they go hand in hand for software development. So they're like the monopoly monster in software industry. Everybody is using it. 95% companies are using it. Everybody knows about it. That means you need to know about it. If they ask you, what do you use for workflow management in your company? Your answer is going to be hands down Jira. Understand?
Yeah.
There's no other. Don't go any other. Do you know any other tools? Well, there might be. You've probably seen an ad for Monday.com. But they're in their infancy, and hardly anybody is using it. So just say no. All the places I work for, I use Jira. Done. What is it? How does it look like? Well, this whole thing, your project manager can design to develop teams for you. You're going to be living in a team. There's a lot in here that you can search and find and create. You're not going to have access to do all that. You're just going to have access to do a few things. What? You can write a ticket. You can create a ticket. Right? Oops, it's really big. You can create a ticket, and those tickets will be stashed like this. Okay? You can search a ticket. What is a ticket? Ticket is a user story. Let me take you to my team. I can go to issues. I can go to boards. Boards are the team boards. View all boards. This is real time, by the way, for my company. These are all the team boards that we have. Look at all of these. Every teams have developers and QA. My team name is UES. UES Development Scrum, I believe. This is my team. But I have a link set up that will quickly take me there. UES. Right. Martha, you have learned about sprint ceremonies.
Ceremonies. Briefly I touched the sprint. What is sprint? And like they're usually 2 weeks period of time where they're writing different like developments on the phases, right? That's sprint.
Okay, I may need to go over this in more detail next Sunday. But what happens is the business analyst, remember we talked about, will write a ticket.
Uh-huh.
she's going to write summary of what needs to be developed. So let me say if I click on this, if I open this particular one, she's going to write details. Look, not much detail there. But because the developer knows already exactly what is needed, she's skipping the details. That's not how it should be. But anyway, this will tell a developer that, hey, this is what we need to build for that particular piece. All of these, when it's planned and written down, it stacks up under something called backlog. Okay. So look at all these tickets. Look at all these work orders or user stories. Every user story is a work order. Some of these you may not understand, but look at this. Event query, meaning query or find something. Missing route in Soteria data, that could be a bug. Verify TMR for new SASE product. So that these are all like software pieces that needs to be developed. With me so far?
Yeah.
So all of these pieces are stockpiles on something called backlog. They just named it backlog. Why? I don't know. Does it have any meaning? No. It's a stockpile of tickets. All right? It's a backlog. Stockpile of tickets. Done. Now, every 2 weeks, the developer is going to pull some of these. The BA will say, which ones do you think we need for that particular panel to display? And the developers might say, let's get this one up, this one up, this one. They're going to pull it into something called sprint. A sprint is a 2-week-long development. Why do they need sprint? Because people don't work well without the timeline. Sprint gives people a 2 weeks timeline and keeps people on their toes working. Understand?
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to pull this one. This one we can wait later. This one, we must have this one. Then they're gonna drag like this from here to a sprint. If I do it right now, it's gonna do that real time. I hope I didn't. Oh my God. It could mess up something big. It will have my name on it that I moved it. Anyway,
Undo it.
yeah, I did think I moved this one, right? Let me quickly track it. You can see how I check. I can open this in a tab and go to activities. And look at this.
Yeah, you did.
Updated. They're gonna get back on me. Why did you do that? And it will mess up their timing and graph. So I'm gonna pull this back. It doesn't allow me anymore.
Wait.
Oh, that's not good. In progress to do more. I'm gonna write a comment. Accidentally got moved by me. How, and I'm going to, Claire is our business analyst, so I'm going to say at Claire, how could you please help me move it back to backlog?
So
Put a comment. And she's gonna get an email. And it wouldn't be a surprise.
yeah, right.
And I mean, generally, I probably don't have access to move it, but some people do. So she will be able to, let me see, right click. No, right click here. Oh, top of backlog, bottom of backlog, top of backlog. Oh, look at that. It moved. Came back in here.
Mm.
right? So these are tickets that the business analysts and developers will meet in a meeting called sprint planning meeting.
Hmm.
Okay.
So that backlog, which is all the tickets, and the BA has the responsibility to pick and choose which one they're gonna work for this sprint.
Not just the BA, it has to be developer.
It has to be developed.
Because the developer, BA just knows that we need this panel.
Mm-hmm.
BA can say that a business analyst might say, we need this panel to show up called clouds.
Mm-hmm.
Developer knows that, hey, we're also going to need that particular ticket because that kind of ties in with this one. What is that? I don't know. But so the business analyst will ask the developers, hey, we need this panel to show up. Which tickets do we need to pull into the sprint? The developers are going to sit and analyze all of these backlog tickets and say this one, and not this one.
Right.
Okay. With me so far?
Yes.
All right. So once this is pulled into the sprint of what we're working on right now, 2-week sprint, this will show up in this board. It's called sprint board. There will be columns. You get to decide how many columns there are. We went with to do, in progress, QA, and done. What does that mean? That means the moment you have pulled it into sprint, it will show up under this column called to do. The developer, this guy, has his face on it. These are avatars of certain people. They said, I will take this story. He said, I will take this one. When he's ready to work on it, he is going to pull that into a in progress column. Look at this guy has one in progress and one in to do. When he's going to be done with this, he's going to move it to this column called QA. Then it becomes my responsibility as a tester to test it.
Right.
After he moves this one to QA, he's going to pull his to do one in progress, and he's going to start working on it. Again, he's going to move it to QA. When it's in QA, I look at it, I test it, I check it. I ask him how to test it sometimes because I don't know how to. He helps me, and then I tested everything good. I move it to done. If not good, I ask him, do you want me to move it back to in progress because you still need to work on it? With me so far?
Yeah.
I have control over moving tickets back and forth here. I don't have control over moving tickets here. Because I'm not involved in that. And this software, there's an admin who controls this. It's called Jira admin. If you're good with this software, you can get a job as a Jira admin and still make $100,000 of no coding skills, just how to configure this application for Teams. You can get a job like that too. We have a Jira admin, and she controls who can do what in here. If I see that everything is good and done, I code it, pull it to the done area. It's over. Okay.
Right.
I'm going to stop here. Do you have any questions? There's more need to be covered. I will do that next Sunday. But anything to tie together what you learned so far?
No, so far it's fine.
Okay. So more of this demo will come next weekend and weekend after, and we'll see how things are done, how these tickets are created, how to write a good ticket. You're going to learn on next couple of videos. And from these tickets, looking at the ticket, how do you create your testable scenario or your test case that you're going to manage and you're going to test them, period. All of that skills you'll be learning from next. Gabriel, do you have any questions?
No, I think you've been pretty clear, and anything that I really need to like understand, I'm just gonna review the video after I go through the organizational slides again.
Yeah, please do. Sometimes you may have to go back and forth and watch these videos again. I promise you,
Yeah,
it will help you. And I've done it myself because it's a lot. It's 4 years of you working for a company. You're gonna understand what this is, and now you're learning that from one days of lesson. Come on, that's too much. So that's why it's important going back and forth. Strengthen yourself on this. Do ask me same questions again next Sunday or Sunday after that. I don't care. I need to know that you are comfortable with how the software industry works. So don't hesitate to ask me questions that were covered way back, because this is a holistic course and I love questions like that. My end goal is to see you, that you know everything I know. Only then I'm going to be satisfied that you're ready to go in the market. If no more questions, then thanks, Gabriel, Martha. Thank you for attending, and I'll see you next Sunday. If you have any questions, just text me.
All right, Stein, thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome.
So, we'll see you next
Have a good
Sunday.
one.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.